Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, December the 6th, where we've got a steady go. And do you go at steady? That's kind of where they were at on Thursday. They had steady bids everywhere. Nebraska was not excited about it yet. Most of them still holding out. The Southern Plains, Kansas, and Texas, they pretty much went ahead with steady. They felt comfortable right there. But I would say the bulk of the trade will be steady. Don't see how, unless we have another big jump in the board on Friday, how Nebraska is going to get a whole lot more than steady. So we'll just see how much trade they have. I'm coming to you here from the Cherokee Sales Company in Cherokee, Oklahoma. Going to be heading over here later to Alva, Oklahoma, to a little talk that they're having for Woods and Alfalfa County Cattlemen's Association there with help from Zoetis. But Jared Herman here at Cherokee Sales, he's helping sponsor this. He's got a big cow special here at Cherokee Sales, 1,100 head of cows and a lot of big nice bunches of cows coming in on Saturday. Had a good sale here on Wednesday, but we're not getting Cherokee Sales info on our automated data feeds yet, but we're working on that and we'll be getting it shortly, I'm sure. Let's talk about the board on Thursday. December live cattle futures up 47 cents at 119.92. So we gained some of what we lost there on Wednesday, but still not back up where we were. But I tell you what, it's staved off the pressure from your technicals. I tell you what, your commodity people were kind of determined that they were going to back this board up, and they may get it done yet. It seems like there's a lot of pressure from there, but our fundamentals are just so good that it's hard to get excited about taking it too far down. We've got fat cattle that are already trading well into the 120s for January. How are we going to take it much lower than where we're at? February live cattle on your futures up 42 cents at 124.60, and that's what I'm talking. They're selling cattle for late January on a basis there off of that February board. Not too much back of there. They've got them quoted as high as just 50 cents back from there. So that's a pretty good market. How are we going to wreck the board between now and then? Because it won't be too long. We'll be done with December. We're going to get into the holidays, and the holidays are going to choke everything up anyway. But you still got to be pretty bullish on this fat cattle market. January feeder cattle down 32 cents at 140.55, and it's been just kind of chipping away at it to here all week long. March down 27 cents at 141.15. Your fat cattle trade has been kind of interesting this week. Through Wednesday, only 4,600 head. So we didn't really know where we were at. We had a few sales near steady, just some little spotty deals. The Fed Cattle Exchange on Wednesday morning sold 600 and some Nebraska fat cattle there at 118 on their online sale, and then a little over 200 head of Kansas cattle from 119 to 119.50. Well, that's something that made everybody kind of come to attention, because we weren't sure if we were going to get that steady money or not. But Nebraska had call-in bids steady Wednesday morning pretty early, but it didn't shake any cattle loose to speak of. Now on Thursday, we did see cattle move. We saw the Southern Plains move at 119. Kansas had a lot of 119. Texas was 119, but you won't find it reported anywhere because you see what we get with this confidentiality report that comes out, and it just keeps you from seeing anything, because we don't have enough players in Texas right now to get through that 370-20 rule. And that's kind of defeating whenever you look at all those feedlots that you have in the Texas Panhandle. It includes western Oklahoma and Oklahoma Panhandle and eastern New Mexico, and we can't get enough players in there to beat that 370-20 rule. That's disgusting. So you have to rely on other forms of market reporting, and that's like on Twitter. If you get on @CattleTrades, you can see CBP or Consolidated Beef Producers transparent marketing right there. And they are trying to pool cattle together, get as much leverage as they can, and sell those cattle as high as they can for their customers, and they're doing a hell of a job. They're based in Canyon, Texas, right there in my hometown, but they sell cattle all over the country. Consolidated Beef Producers. If you're having trouble getting your cattle sold at market and you'd like to join in and start being part of the solution instead of part of the problem, get a hold of CBP, get on their website, take a look at what they're doing, and I think they're doing a good job, and I think we need to do more of it. Iowa, 119 to 120, very limited on some better deals. 119 to 120, that would be a buck higher right there in Iowa. Had a few dress sales reported in Iowa from 188 to 189. That would be a buck better. But in Nebraska, we're just not seeing the trade take off as of late Thursday, and it's getting dark. So very, very little trade, a few 187. They could have had a lot of 187, but most people passed it. And there was one packer that even had call-in bids at 188. Now, you wouldn't deliver them until late in the month, but around the holidays there. But if you wanted to take that, they'd call in from 188. The call-in deal's kind of like when you go to buy a new car and you shoot them a bid like you would anybody on something you're trying to buy, and then they got to go in the back and talk to the manager. That's kind of what your call-in deal is. But pretty much if it's a call-in deal, if you'll trade with them, they'll do it. But you're not hardly getting any live bids right now as of yet in central and eastern Nebraska because it's just too damn muddy, and the cattle are carrying a lot of tag on there, so you're going to have a hard time getting a live bid out of those packers that's anywhere close to steady. We assume that we'll see some western bids come in, and they'll probably be about 120, which would be steady, but we haven't heard anything confirmed yet. Western Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, places like that. But for the most part, you could go with steady and you wouldn't be far from being right, even with stuff that hasn't happened yet. Box beef cutout values continued lower. They're taking a chunk out of them, guys. There's just nothing driving it right now. They've already done all the purchasing for the holiday gatherings and everything. Now we're into the time where what they would buy would be for right during Christmas, and you know, not a lot going on then. We should see that come back around, probably bottom out sometime this week or next, and then we'll get back into purchasing probably for the new year, and then should get a little shot in the arm. But choice cuts on Thursday afternoon, $225.60 down $1.35. Selects $208.12 down $219. Okay, what's going on this week? I want to give a shout out to Wahoo Livestock Sales, Wahoo, Nebraska. And I just like to say Wahoo. And Friday, December the 6th, right here today, while as you guys are looking at this, noontime, they've got a special feeder cattle sale at Wahoo Livestock Sales. And you think, well, I can't get over there. You don't have to. Just get to your computer or get to your phone or your tablet or whatever. Go into dvauction.com. Check out Wahoo there. You can view and bid that sale right there on your computer. And they've got many reputation consignments and a lot of fancy calves right there at Wahoo. And be sure and check them out. Let's talk about your markets that happened on Thursday. Your real-time index on DV Auction come in at 143.97 late on Thursday. That was down another 47. Every day this week, except for Tuesday, your RTI has been down a little bit, you know, half a dollar, a little less than that. It's just more and more calves. There's no place to put them anymore, guys. These feedlots are slam full, and that's probably why a lot of those Kansas yards went ahead and took the steady money, especially if they thought they could get them to take some of those cattle right away. They need the pen space. They'd like to buy more calves, but they need the pen space. That's about all they can handle right now. And they're putting them in the alleyways and everywhere else, just trying to find a place to put them until things shake loose a little bit. But they'd like to buy more cattle if they could. Big sale on Thursday. Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas had about 4,000 head there. Early call on the feeders was $3 to $5 higher than 2 weeks ago, as last week was Thanksgiving. They didn't have a sale. Didn't have an early call on the calves, but looked like they were selling awfully well. But look at some long time weaned calves or short yearlings there at Winter Livestock in Pratt. 65 of them weigh 748 at 160 and a quarter. That's about as high as they get right there. And then how about a yearling deal? 53 head of them weighed 885 at 154.35, and that's about as high as I've seen them anywhere for quite some time. Joplin Regional Stockyards had one of their weanback specials on Thursday, 7,100 head. They had more cattle for the value-added sale than they did on the regular Monday sale, but they had well over 6,000 there on Monday. But they sell a lot of cattle in Joplin, guys. Feeders were firm or fully steady, I would say, compared to the Monday sale. Now, they haven't had one of those value-added sales for quite some time. So when I was there, we decided we'd always just compare kind of what the premium was to what happened on Monday. That's what everybody wants to know, but everybody's too afraid to tell you. So your feeders were fully steady. Of course, your big yearlings, I mean, they're not going to sell any better at a value-added sale than they do on a regular sale, especially when there's none of them out there and everybody wants them. That's all they'll bring. But the big calves sold steady to $3 higher than comparable calves on Monday. So that gives you an idea that these value-added sales are worth going to, especially on the peewees. Because you just, in that part of the country, you don't see a lot of peewees that have a health program on them. I'm saying peewees like 450 and down. But if you had some peewee calves with a health program and a wean on them, $7 to $10 higher than what the few similar calves they would have had like that sold at the regular sale on Monday. But good value-added sale there in Joplin. I want to talk about a bluegrass market there. Bluegrass is a partner of ours. We report all their markets, and they had a big special at Bluegrass Stockyard South, Stanford. Jay Romine, a friend of mine, he's the main auctioneer for Bluegrass. He sent me some information out of there. Bluegrass South in Stanford had 2,800 head of cattle. Now that's not a typical Eastern sale there. They had 18 load lots included in there. The featured deal was 5 loads of nice heifers from longtime customer Mac Hewlett. 395 head, you see here on the automated report. 678-pound fancy heifers, 135.60. That's a heck of a good sale. But the top sale on Thursday has got to go to Ogallala, Nebraska. You just can't beat Western Nebraska when it comes to top sales. You can't do it. 2,800 head there at Ogallala. Dwayne Mays and company there. Look at these light calves and what they'll bring. They had a lot of 3 and light 4-weight calves over $2, but look at this big load of them. 97 head, 495 pounders. That's scaring the hell out of 500 pounds right there. Bring 203.50. That's your feeder flash for Friday.